down to Lick Run, where we celebrated the fact that we are going to be able to commit to the rest of the funding for the Western Hills Viaduct. There's some great coverage in the news about it, which I think is important, not because it sheds good light on the agency, though I think we deserve it, but because the public gets to know what their support for issue 7 is going to mean. And I think Khaled and team, I'm glad we honored your team today because I know how much you put into this. The entire organization learned a new skill, and it's a skill that's going to serve us for 25 years because this is money that will exist for the entire term of this levy, and hopefully in perpetuity. We are able to fund and support infrastructure projects all over the county. As we said last week, High Points, the diversity of geographies and jurisdictions here is really spectacular. I imagine that will grow. The types of projects, obviously everyone's really excited about the new Darrell Haley viaduct that will go over. But the other projects are equally tremendous, and seeing people on Facebook and Twitter talking about the fact that the sidewalk that they don't have now that they would like to be able to have will be in existence so they can walk and run, so the kids can get around. Bus bays in Coleraine. Mr. Mosby, thank you so much for coming and talking about what this means to your community. It's just a great day, and I'm excited that we get to approve this. I'm excited about the process. I know that there'll be some tweaks to the process in future years, which I think is, appropriate. And I look forward to seeing how this county continues to develop from an infrastructure perspective. We have a lot of good that we can do because of this and because of issue 7. So I'll happily move this today, and hopefully there'll be a second and a unanimous vote, and then we'll, 30 ribbon cuttings over the next several months.
All right.
Moved.
Seconded.
All right. Everyone wants to get in there. Motion probably moved and seconded. Any questions or comment? No, I'll say I agree, Brennan, that it's great, and it's great to see this coming to fruition. I'm thrilled we could approve all the projects that were requested this year. Hopefully we get to the point where there's so many good projects, right? We can't get to all of them, but I think it's, like I said, we were concerned that not every jurisdiction was going to be comfortable with the process, and it's thrilling that so many were. So really excited about moving ahead here.
Also want to give a huge thank you to the folks that are on the ground that helped to make sure that voters were able to do this. This is the reward of all these constituents that said, hey, we absolutely want to do this. And 48 years it took to get this done. A lot of work went into it, and so appreciate all those folks on the ground that did that work. I'm especially proud that we've got 22 municipalities that are receiving these dollars, just so that we can make sure we frame it. 30,590,000. Over $30 million that are going out to all these different municipalities, and it is going to be used in such a big way, and this means a lot. And you've got government that continues to take money, from our small municipalities to be able to, bring this back in for their infrastructure needs, and then these smaller communities is absolutely special. So well done, and very excited to vote on this.
Yeah, to all of you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Joe. All right. Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Hinton?
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Bernard?
Yes.
All right, so passed. So on to the integrating committee with that. So good job, everyone.
That's my report.
All right, thank you. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. Okay, financials.
Good morning, everyone. You will put the the P&L on the screen there. What we're seeing there are the month of August results, both the month and year to date. The month and year to date are compared to budget, and then on to the far right column, we see a comparison to our forecast, which we had done back in the second quarter. We are reforecasting as we speak right now. Looking at our results for August, we had an operating surplus before any adjustments of 2.6 million for the month compared to, and then an 18.2 million year-to-date. Capital revenue was recorded to offset the operating surplus in order to build a capital reserve. Our key drivers, mostly in our total revenue, our revenue of 12.3 million for the month was favorable to budget by 2.1 million or 20%. Our year-to-date total revenue of 90.4 million was favorable to budget by 10.5 million. It was flat to our forecast year-to-date. Our key drivers in our favorability for our total revenue come from the stimulus funds of CRISA. We recorded 2.7 million for the month and 13.4 million year-to-date. The CRISA funds were not in our budget. Our fair revenue does continue to be unfavorable to budget, 500,000 or 37% for the month. Unfavorable ridership compared to our budget continues to be the primary driver. In the month of August, there were 5 fare-free days that also contributed to the unfavorable results. 3 of the fare-free days were for the Get Out of the Vax campaign, and 2 of the days were for the start of the CPS school year. Our actual year-to-date fare revenue was relatively flat compared to the forecast for the same period. The other driver in our total revenue is the CPS contract, which was unfavorable to budget for the month by 142,000. We are expecting for the full year, our CPS contract revenue is anticipated to be approximately 2.8 million unfavorable to our budget, primarily due to the recent contract changes with CPS. Moving forward to our total expenses of 9.7 million for the month, it was favorable to budget by 527,000 or 5.1%. Year-to-date total expenses of 72.1 million was favorable to budget by 7.7 million, and compared to the year-to-date forecast, actual total expense was favorable 1.6 million for the same period. Key drivers in our expenses, wages and benefits, were favorable to budget by 603,000 or 7.6%, and our year-to-date actual results were favorable to forecast by 433%, just slightly under a percent. Our other was unfavorable for the month of 74,000 or 5.7% compared to budget, primarily due to the timing in our budget versus our actual. Our year-to-date other operating expense was favorable to forecast by 862,000. And that is the results for August. Any questions or? Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to make sure we continue to look at speeding up some of the investigations around BRT and things like that, right? Since we have some of the funds to do so. So thank you, Cindy. Mr. Haley, Metro on the Move.
Again, we just want to thank the team for all of the hard work that they put in for the start of the school year, being at the schools, being at the transfer points. Also, I wanted to mention we had a back-to-school drive where we partnered with the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials on August 31st. We participated in the Woodward Back to School Stuff the Bus event, where we collected school supplies and grooming essentials to set the students up for a successful start of the year. If Mary Huller is here, I'd like Mary to stand up. She runs our grants department. We talked about some grants that we were awarded last month. We were also awarded some additional grants this month. The modernization of the fleet, this will complete our Wi-Fi on all of our buses this year. We were awarded a 1.16 million grant from ODOT. Passenger counters, so we don't have automated passenger counters on all of our buses. This will complete our fleet with passenger counters, and what that will do is it will give us the data not only where people get on the bus, but where they get off to help us make better decisions. We received $875,000 for that. Replacement batteries for our hybrid buses, $532,000, and an alternative energy strategy where we've got an RFP out right now where we're going to be looking at all of the different alternative fuel possibilities, and we received a grant for $125,000 for that. Mary does an outstanding job here. We continue to be successful, and I just wanted to say thank you to her, and also wanted to mention that 2 of these grant awards actually scored 100%. Also, we mentioned earlier, Mark Saman, 4 under 40 Opta Award, as well as our 2 million mile operator received an award at Opta, so congratulations. And Blake mentioned earlier, Car Free Day is September 22nd. We'll be down at the square from 11 to 2 with Tank, BCRTA, Red Bike, Cincinnati Bell Connector, Tri-State Trails, FC Cincinnati, and the Cyclone. There'll be free food and prizes down there as well. So anyone that'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. And that concludes my report.
Question?
Daryl, on that grant, the passenger counters is such a great thing, and I think about, again, talking about the team and all of the folks in our organization who are planners and experts at data and analytics, and thinking about what we can do with that in the future. It's a game changer, so congratulations, thank you, and look forward to seeing that public work.
Thank you.
Right, and we can't wait to see the electric buses that come from the other alternate strategy as well. I'd also say, you know, our operators are so talented and so good at what they do, and I think sometimes we take for granted, if everybody's paying attention, right, 2 million miles safe operation, right, is just unbelievable. I think the record in my family is like 150 miles, but so, you know, it's amazing, and it's not just Mike, who's obviously outstanding, but we have so many people that do such a great job and take such care of the community, so I think all of them should be recognized and appreciated. Any new business anyone wants to bring up today? No? Okay, then we're gonna.
Okay, I don't have new business, but I know we had an elevator trouble earlier.
Okay.
I saw a couple people walk in. I don't know if you want to check and see if they.
Had comments? Okay, so yeah, we started the meeting, we understand some people had some trouble getting up. I don't know if anyone intended to do public comment that wasn't able to. Nope, thank you, Tony, for pointing that out. Okay, thank you very much. Then I would move that we move to executive session, section 121.22 G3, conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. We need to have that seconded? Okay, properly moved and seconded. Is this a roll call?
Ms. Burdine? Ms. Black?
Yes.
Mrs. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Cole? Mr. Etheridge?
Yes.
Mr. Hinton?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So we'll move into executive session. Of course, that means we need to clear the room, but thank you for your participation.